the runner-up of this year's The International Newbee versus Virtus.pro.
The StubHub Post-Match Breakdown.
Welcome back to the Barclaycard Arena for live coverage of ESL One Hamburg 2017. The Bears have it in Game 1, having ripped their prey apart. Are they just toying with their food? Let's find out with our expert analysis. Nahaz is with us alongside Blitz. Did feel like they were toying with them a bit at times in that game, didn't it? Waiting for the right moment, just explode.
It sure ended in a hurry.
It did, yeah.
Will called the PL pick, and it was obviously a sick PL game. I'm not really sure if that's the story of the game, though. PL did about 28k hero damage in that game. Well over half that's in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I thought in the early game you saw some of the things we talked about with Newbee, how they're a great counter-punching team. I think it's the third of our clips coming up is going to show you a fight very similar to Kaka's stutter step bait of EG yesterday behind their tier 2 tower, where you had a bait, VP engage, and Newbee just counter-punch that engagement. It's such a great counter-punching team. At the end, though, you got to look at the CC on Batrider. He had such a great game. That's his first game on Batrider with this Newbee squad. He's 3-4 with the Newbee Young squad on that hero. And you just got to wonder, that last fight, it was like Moogie got gripped, great grip by Solo, and the rest of Newbee were like, SCCC, go! Batrider's not going to win that fight by himself.
Yeah, it did seem a little bit of a hard back. Will, what did you make of it?
Felt like their overall lineup was just going to scale a little bit better. The thing about Terrorblade lineups, if you don't pick any sort of complementary cores with it, it sort of has to carry. And they kind of committed to this idea that their team fight was going to be overwhelming, and SCC, all he had to really do was create space with the Batrider, which he did, which made it a competitive mid-game. But near the end, they just kind of got ran over. Like, the Nature's Prophet was a little bit too much for them to deal with. Pasha, I thought, did an excellent job of always keeping that bottom lane shoved in. So eventually he just like took tower with the treants, then that opened up the map and made things overall easier. But pretty good scrap fest overall.
Yeah, do you feel like Virtus.pro looked at this in the early game and just went, we just need to contain them here? Time is on our side.
Yeah, and the upside, I think, of this Bounty Hunter pick for them is that enables these cores, and it makes it so that you don't have to have necessarily like the best fight starts of these team fights, because when Leshrac, who is a notoriously weak hero in terms of like he gets gone on, he dies, well, if you track and he runs around at like 450 move speed, then, you know, he has a lot more space and freedom in these fights.
Definitely. Where did Newbee go from here?
I think you go back to that formula that I talked about before Game 1. I think you want to lock down those comfort supports early on in the draft, and I think you look. It really is as simple. I think you want to put SCCC on a hero that he can win you the game with. Right. That's a brilliant Batrider game. Part of me is glad we got to see that, because you really could see how we were talking about Newbee playing around him in these fights. He's really controlling and directing those fights for Newbee. At the end of the day, though, you're seeing right here in this fight, oh no, we've got a Batrider, not a Queen of Pain with Refresher.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it felt a bit, well, like he was suddenly the orchestra conductor instead of the violinist in the middle of the pit, and you want him to be playing the tunes.
You do, but I don't know if this game is necessarily on that. I think if there's like one or two decisive moments, had they been a bit more patient, where maybe they could have gone to racks or made this game much more competitive. Like, it was a close game overall.
Yeah,
the majority of the issues.
But do you feel like they could have ever won it, though?
Yeah, it was hard, though.
Yeah.
Their scaling was a little bit weird for me, and eventually, like, the Leshrac was just putting out too much damage. But maybe if TB gets slotted a little bit sooner, who knows?
Also felt like the itemization for BP was actually a little bit better. We talked about Newbee using that late game support itemization really well in the series yesterday against EG. I actually loved the support itemization and the itemization in general by VP, by going that stacking Medallion and Solar Crest to protect the Leshrac. Will talking about how that hero is natively very squishy. It really felt like VP said, okay, if we can just use these little boosts to get us over that first Rax push hump, we can take a Terrorblade out of the fight and just destroy their base.
Fine lines, obviously, Will, between victory and defeat at this kind of level. What were the key things, though, for Newbee?
For Newbee, I felt like they had the right idea overall. It's team fight, team fight, team fight. When you play against a team like VP, they're not going to let you scale in the same ways. And this is a team that's going to run at you and just get overwhelmingly aggressive, which is what we saw in the Liquid series, where if they win, it feels like they're going to win in 30 minutes. And Liquid was able to like somehow do that weird thing where they were actually the ones like pushing the pace forward with that Phantom Assassin. And I think that kind of idea is how you go forward if you're Newbee.
And
like,
Newbee can play like that, right?
Yeah, get ready to fight these guys. They won't let you play your tempo-setting game, and that's the best part about VP is they sort of take you out of your game, and they make you just like get into these weird aggressive wars that you don't want to get into. But it felt like Newbee was a bit more prepared for that, and that was a much closer game one than I thought we'd see.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get into the second draft then and see whether this is a 2-0 or whether Newbee can make a fight of this. We do, I guess, Alan, we expect all 3 games today to beat all 3 maps, don't we?
Oh, yeah. I mean...
If this was a 2-0, we'd be very surprised, I think.
No, just because Virtus.pro is such a and look at this. Virtus.pro is just such a strong momentum team, and they're going to go with a hero that's just a staple of theirs, that solo Ogre Magi, who's just such a lane bully. I mean, we see him just diving under tier 1 towers to get off the ignite on the enemy mid, sometimes even dying in the process, but that's how they play. They're going to make you feel that pressure from minute 1.
It's weird that they don't care about the Veno at all. Virtus.pro, it seems like they just have like these 2 or 3 heroes that they're going to pick no matter what. And I like that. It's kind of setting your own meta and doing the things that you feel like are more competitively viable. And it makes you an interesting team to play against because you're not just following this like strict idea that you have to first pick some of these heroes. And what it does also is it forces enemy teams into like questioning their own ideas. Yeah. It's like Newbee's like, well, we had Veno and it didn't quite work out and they weren't willing to touch it. Does that mean that hero's bad now?
Yeah. No, I really like the fact that VP is just coming at you in waves, right? They're not necessarily going to death ball into a team fight, and so you can't necessarily count on Veno getting in the middle of that and just getting this huge poison of his gales off on everybody. So Newbee going to flip the script a little bit. They're going to turn around, pick the Nature's Prophet. Not a hero that KP plays too terribly much of.
Yeah, this is, okay, so this is super interesting because now this is Newbee adapting, and they feel like there's not enough bans, and they'll take these heroes. So what can we do? Let's pick them ourselves. Because I haven't seen KP play Nature's Prophet. It doesn't really fit his kind of tempo playstyle, and Bane is a hero that I think matches up okay against Ogre because you need heroes that will readily trade with that hero. But Virtus.pro, like their options are super open. They take Sven immediately. That's going to be their Bloodlust core.
And this is a hero I thought we see in the last game from them.
Yeah, I like it a lot better here because it is against a Nature's Prophet. Oftentimes when people pick NP, you second phase ban the Sven. It's just one of the best matchups that you can get because the treants are sort of useless against them.
So an identical first 2 for Newbee, but copying Virtus.pro.
Yeah, and that's the. Sorry, I'm taking up so much time, but it's really interesting to me because Newbee, like, they kind of had to like follow along with this meta.
Yeah.
That they don't. I don't know if they necessarily want to do this. Of course, you're a professional player, so you're prepared to play most things.
Yeah, yeah.
But
neither
it looks
of those are in any of the players' top 10s.
Yeah,
right now.
it's like I'm watching Virtus.pro versus Virtus.pro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they hadn't put the names up, we'd actually think this was the other way around.
I think you have to be careful with that though, because again, at the end of the day, you get used to playing a certain way as a team, and I think you can get a little bit too caught up in countering what the other guy is doing, and all of a sudden get to like the 40-minute mark and saying, okay guys, let's go win the game, and you got to play differently. This, though, I like. Newbee are going to turn around and say, okay, fine, we might have started the draft off differently, but we're going to go back to a hero that's just so solidly in our wheelhouse. This Wisp pick, though, is so sick.
Yeah. Queen of Pain, though,
so sick.
Is really nice against Wisp, just because it's hard to kill her. She's one of the few mid heroes that doesn't mind too much, and I'm really curious to know what Newbee picks as their secondary support. Like, the options that I think are okay here because there's no Rubik as Sand King. It's a double stun option. You can even take something like Nyx or Disruptor. Maybe they don't feel comfortable with those because they already have the Bane, so they want something a little bit more mobile that can follow around the map.
Now, the Sand King and Nyx Assassin are 2 of the top 3 heroes for Kaka. The Nyx Assassin's actually been banned against them in, I want to say, the majority of their games.
I would be okay with either the SK or the Nyx, and if they're going to take a core like really early on, I'd be okay with I feel like the Bloodseeker isn't bad here. Something that allows them to just like fight early on. The Rupture's quite good against that hero. Or you could just go the route of picking like a really mobile core as well.
Yeah, that's the other thing that I really liked about the Iosfine combo is that it does. I don't know if it takes away, but it punishes a lot of heroes that are in Mugi's wheelhouse, like the Ursa, for example.
Yeah, I'd be okay with Sanking. I'd be okay with Nyx. If they want to move this Bane to a 4, they can even take something like Witch Doctor. But Witch Doctor hasn't been popular in quite some
Did
time.
see it once yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, once the day before that as well. I think it's Secret EG. Both have used it. Not very often, but they've both used it.
Eating through a lot of their reserve.
Oh, there's
heroes
Wyvern
maybe.
too. You can
Oh,
take
that's a really good call.
I'd be okay with Wyvern, Sanking,
Okay.
or... Okay, so they take the SK.
Yeah.
It's a bit of more of a playmaker, and you need teamfight right now. Like, you need guaranteed stuns, because your offlaner... Like, that's a downside of having Nature's Prophet as an offlaner. He's so unique in the sense that he doesn't come with the stun. So, VP now...
Yeah, we got to start thinking about an offlaner. This is something I really like the Nature's Prophet pick for Pasha in the last match, because Pasha he's a very, very gifted core player. He struggles sometimes on the primary initiator, so they're going to go ahead and commit to the Dragon Knight. That's probably going to be your mid laner against the Queen of Pain. That hero, it's the book on it is that Queen of Pain's going to win that lane, but Dragon Knight can hold his own. There was a game, though, pretty recently where Mid One played a Dragon Knight and just dumpstered a Queen of Pain just before TI. I think it was at the Summit. That really made me rethink the potential. If there's a roaming support like an Ogre Magi, if you can get some support from the Wisp, that Dragon Knight can take advantage of the instant Dragon Tail stun and actually have some kill potential on the Queen of Pain.
So, if I'm Virtus.pro right now, the Darkseer's been banned.
Yeah.
I would be looking towards heroes like... I think Doom's quite good here. I think Doom's got a lot of potential.
Okay.
As well as... Oh, they take
That's
Brew.
the Brew, yeah. And that's, again, if VP have a weakness as a team, it's Pasha. He can be so good with your traditional offlane initiator, team fighter heroes, but he can also have some really bad games on this hero. It's just high variance. So I'm going to look at this Brew as the game progresses. Newbee they don't necessarily have a great lineup against the Brew, so it probably is okay. Yeah, Timber, one of the heroes that can really punish those Wisp combos and can help kite the Sven.
Not something we've seen so far.
I mean, there's 3 melee cores on the other side. It's not a hero that you see often because it's not often you see 3 melee cores on the other side. But... And just a bunch of strength heroes.
Yeah, Virtus.pro want to get up close and personal, I guess, in this second game. Will, what have you made of the draft?
I actually really like Newbee's draft. I think that Virtus.pro might be the better team. Actually, I'm almost certain they're the better team, but I think Newbee has a better draft, so I'll go with them.
Yeah, I agree. I think the last couple of picks by Newbee, they've picked a lineup that they're really, really comfortable with, and I think they're going to be able to force the action.
Okay, so are Newbee able to bring this one back? They are a game down right now to Virtus.pro. Can they put it back to 1-1, save their major, and head to the grand final? Or are Virtus.pro about to make it the first team through? Let's find out as we head back to your commentary team of ODPixel and Melini.
Very much, Red Eye, and here we have Game 2, Virtus.pro, Newbee. Game 1 ended in a bit of a bang, very sudden sort of crumbling of Newbee, and VP were able to secure that win. Game 2, very different drafts. We're seeing things switch up. A very interesting final pick there from Newbee, the Timbersaw, and it's looking like a pretty spicy game for a Timberban.
I love the Timbersaw pick here. I am a little bit concerned similar to last game about how are they going to actually do this late game, but Timbersaw solves so many of their problems. You're versus 4 strength heroes, or according to O and 5.
I mean, he's a big guy, that Ogre. But as you said, he's a smart guy.
You're just role-playing as Ogre. It's okay. I understand.
I was the other head. But they'll keep the control on this bounty room with this play by the looks of it, forcing Mugi back. And we'll see what sort of lanes come out from VP if they want to switch things up, turn anything aggressive. Is there any sort of matchup that either side needs to avoid? With that Timber in mind in particular?
Looking at the matchups that they would want to do. I mean, they're all about even, right? You're going to be versus strength hero in either lane as a Timbersaw. I think early game, you might actually struggle a little bit just because you might not be able to right-click too much versus the Brewmaster if he goes for the early haze, but I think he should get CS anywhere. How many times has Mugi played Timbersaw?
Yeah, it's good. We've seen, Mugi this game playing the Timber and SCC playing back, sort of heroes that I feel at least are not necessarily the most common pickups for them. Lil
Only because of scaling issues.
he can't really go for that. He may be on the way back. He knows that it's making the trip. How careful are Newbee going to be about this one, Lil? He's not going to look to move in position for it. He knows that he's actually needed in the mid lane because no one's been getting gone on by Faith. SCCC and Kaka with the stun from Kaka. That's going to be your first blood. They just walk in and take it. Lil, maybe because of that courier snap opportunity he was looking for, couldn't quite get there in time to provide the save that no one needed.
I don't know if he would have been able to kill the courier. IO's not the best courier sniper.
It's a pretty pesky lane for no one, especially at this early level. Being level 1 against these heroes is not fun as the DK. Very hard for him to get in for the CS. He's got the brief fire though, and has got a hefty creep wave moving in on him. And the XP, as we see, being split much more by Newbee, having 3 heroes here in comparison to, at the moment, just the 2 on VP. Bottom lane, KP being chased down by Lil and Ramses. He'll be able to get himself out of there. Mid lane Solo's not going to be as lucky. This aggression from these 3 heroes of Newbee really just stepping up the pressure in this mid lane. And VP, they're struggling to deal with it. 2 deaths in 1.5 minutes in this mid lane for Virtus.pro.
Yeah, sometimes having a big creep wave is really bad for your team, actually, especially if you don't have a good way to clear it. They just got dove because of so many creep waves at the tower. And they're going to have to worry about KP TPing in soon, too.
Yeah, absolutely. These mid lane skirmishes could get even nastier for VP. As we see again, just Faith's harassment along with the dagger from the Queen of Pain, making it so hard for no one to get involved at all in terms of farming.
Already a poor matchup, I would say, for the Dragon Knight, but I mean, with the brief fire change, it's not that bad, but with the Bane sitting there, it's awful.
Yeah. No fun at all here for the DK. He is still getting CS out of it, as we can see. He's got 7 at the moment, but SCCC, of course, does have the advantage, as expected, with the backup that he has. And oh, look at this. This is so... But Kaka's got an Invis rune. This could set something up again if no one's not too careful in that middle lane. We'll see if they can find a chance to jump in on him. As they're making the go, Kaka goes in with the Burrow Strike. He's pretty tanky now with the 2 points in the Dragon's Blood, and does keep himself alive because of it. But just this consistent harassment on this DK.
Oh, chicken's killed. Nice.
Okay. Yeah, KP. He said to look out for the TPs, and he does make it. Makes it happen.
Well, that will make the lane even tougher for no one.
No one's got to be careful. He can't tilt. He's got to keep his cool. But it's definitely...
the guy stream? Come on.
But everything is there to make him tilt. Newbee know that they just want to put no one mentally off his game.
I don't really see him tilt though in professional games, though. He's actually pretty resilient to that.
As I was saying earlier in this major, just out of sort of individual player performances, I think at this LAN, no one is for me definitely up there at the top. He's had some incredibly solid games here in Hamburg. There's any questioning about that, and Newbee know that. That's why they're going full in on him on this mid lane. This time he'll have Solo to back him up. No one. He's going to tick down low, but the Dragon's Blood regen should be fine. He's got a Fairy Fire as well, so Dagger won't quite kill him, but it's just keeping him zoned back. He's got the salve, so we'll still be able to remain in the area of the experience.
That should tide him over until 5, where the Shrine and the Courier should kind of coincide and help him out even more. So Pasha did go for the early point in Drunken Haze.
Look at this wraparound from Kaka.
Yeah,
we know he's a bit of a beast on the Sand King. His movements are always on par. Have they got the burst to bring down this brute? They'll chase him down. Drunken Haze buying him some time, but he should fall here. So they've got the slow from the Caustic. Mugi cuts him down with the Whirling Death, and Newbee picking up a third. These movements, these plays from both Kaka and Faith, the call to stay in the mid and then to make these moves up top, it's certainly having a heavy effect on the laning phase, and Newbee are getting that edge. We heard what KP talk about it on stage, how crucial the lanes were, and how in some matchups Newbee, they do struggle early on. So in this game too, and to be fair, at the start of game 1, they seem to have rectified and focused on those issues, and they're looking very hot to start things off. Bottom lane, KP in trouble though, as they move in with the stun. Solo with the rotation will catch out. And Nature's Prophet, VP getting themselves a kill on the board.
The only nice thing that's happened for them this game thus far. So Pasha actually, like, not only did he go for the Drunken Haze, he also is kind of doubling down on it too by going for the Soul Ring as well on the Brewmaster. So it's an unusual build, I would say, especially versus Timbersaw, who can just spam his Whirling Blades if he wants to get CS, and it actually hasn't really hurt him at all. If you look at his CS, it's perfectly normal.
One's got to be careful. Yeah, SCCC is going to jump in on this. They've got the TP from KP coming in as well. Has he got the damage? He's got the control. Sprouts out. South will be popped, the second dagger flies in. Lil, he's got the tether, and that will be enough to keep no one alive. So at least Lil's able to make the save. But again, this is time that no one is just miles away from that middle lane.
They would love to get the courier kill too, but just not quite close enough. This lineup also is not particularly great at hitting towers. Two of their cores are actually pretty terrible hitting towers. The Queen of Pain and the Timbersaw, especially sieging high ground. So I'm a little bit worried for that, even if they do get
Kaka's positioning.
Laning.
Moving in from behind. Just going in with the right clicks. He's got that level 3. He's got the point of Sandstorm. He's actually in a bit of trouble here as Lil turns up. Do they have any sort of detection or AoE? They do with the brief fire. They'll cut down Kaka. Getting a little too greedy with that positioning, as he underestimated the potential of VP being able to turn that one around. Normally he's very on point with his plays, Kaka, but that one was a little questionable.
Well, I don't really think it was that question because I don't think he expected the Dragon Tail to come out so early. He actually he skilled it at level 4 or 5, I believe, and usually, like, especially when he's struggling this much, you usually don't go for the stun. So you can just farm more with the breathe fire. I mean, sometimes you'll get it defensively, but yeah, just got Dragon Tail to the face.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Top lane Mugi definitely able to play much more aggressive now with that level 6. Has the slow for the Chakram, buying time for Kaka to close the gap. Burrow strikes there. That's the movements we expect from Kaka, and once again doing it on this top lane, taking down Pasha.
Radiant's top tower.
This Timbersaw is going to be a big problem, though. Like, they don't have great magic bursts at all. All they really have is like a Sven to chop through his enormous amount of tankability. I guess they can just cyclone him in fights and worry about him later, but he's still going to do a lot of damage.
Especially going to be an issue for this heavily punished DK. No one again being chased down. SCCC has a DD. He needs help, the DK, and he's going to get it. Solo's there. That will, for the time being, at least put Newbee off jumping in onto the Dragon Knight. They may just look for Solo instead. Bottom lane, Ramses and Lil chasing down. KP will get the kill. Kaka and SCCC should be able to finish off Solo with the dagger in him and the double damage still up on SCCC's quad.
And they revealed the stack too. Ogre kind of came down right after the 7-minute mark, so they're kind of wondering what the heck he's up to. And then Sand King also went to the right to chase him, so they have very good eyes on the stack. That's something you might consider blowing a Sonic Wave on.
Oh, look at this, they want to go. Oh. The Brain Sap, the stun from Kaka. That's going to be no one down again in the middle lane.
What a great block from KP. That was sick. Easy tower.
Yeah, really nicely done. Sometimes we see just going straight away with the Sprout, but he lands down the tree and gets the kill. Now the return play is going to be there. Pasha's trying to lead him with the Primal Spit, but Kaka just gets stunned up. This Ogre in a lot of trouble. Lil's going to come in looking for the save. Is keeping Solo alive for the time being. No, Solo will fall, but they are able to find the big one. They get Quap. Cost them both the support's lives. VP, they want to get more out of this. They may just. Pasha lands the clap. Brief fire onto KP, but Kaka's Burrow Strike holds back the DK. KP gives us some space to TP out. He's going to make it as well. Kaka still has the Sandstorm. Burrow Strike back him in a couple of seconds as well as one charges. He should be fine, and he will. Gets out of there. So VP able to strike back in the sense that they get the Queen of Pain, but it's still costing them kills. And now they know Ramses is on his own down bottom. SCC's hunting. He's going to hit level 6, and Ramses, yeah, TP straight out away from the tree line. He cannot play around with that level 6 Queen of Pain on his own.
That's probably what Lil microing the courier. I think he died there and just kind of left it there. So this is nice. At least they get this big stack. And it looks like Kaka is actually going to be able to leech some XP.
It's going to be nice if he can stick around in the AoE.
Yeah, he knows what's up. Oh my god, he's he's actually getting so much XP from this. There are 3 Virtus.pro heroes in the neighborhood, though.
A little bit counts. He may pay with his life for it, though, as the stuns stack up. Sprout is there, and with the stick charges and Burrow Strike, Kaka's going to live. Very nicely able to play his way out of that. As KP comes in with the Sprout. He's buying a little time for Kaka.
Look at his gold, too. He has 1,600 gold on that Sand King. He hasn't really been farming at all, but he is very high in net worth. He does not look like Division 4.
He's just been so active. He's 4-1-3. He's been in 7 of the 8 kills. This is, the Kaka Sand King that we know and love.
Well, the highest win rate and the most games. Oh no, this is the highest win rate.
Oh, that win rate is 74% on a hero. That's incredibly high. And it's as expected. I mean, if over the patches, the years, no one DK, that is his best hero. That is the hero that that we know he loves, and we know he loves to play it. He certainly shows it in the way he plays. And to be fair, regardless of the pressure that has been put on him on the mid lane, he's still getting the experience is good. It's just the farm that's incredibly lacking.
Unfortunately for him, he has to, they have to give Sven the stacks too. So normally you would just, get level 12, whatever, farm out some huge stacks and get back in the game. So they can still farm that. So Lil should be prioritizing stacks as he has been.
And that's the thing as well, because the pressure was there for no one. Ramses has had an absolutely free game so far. He's exactly where he wants to be in farm. Obviously, we saw he gets the ancient stack. So sure, a little bit of the XP gets soaked up by Kaka, but overall, the pace of farm's great for Ramses.
Yep. And he has Bloodlust too on the DK, so that buffs up your net worth by a good 30%.
Well, this Invis rune could set up for a play onto Kaka if they get the stun into stun, and they should have the timing perfectly. Damage with Lil should be enough with the spirits flying through. Kaka tries to play his way out there. He goes for the TP, but he is not going to make it. VP will punish Kaka.
Excellent spirit control from Lil. Lil's actually very farmed too. His net worth is 8, but it's actually very high as 8 because there's a big drop off after him. Poor Solo. 536. He has more HP than gold, dude.
That's the classic Solo. But as we've seen before, he doesn't need gold. He doesn't need farm to do a lot for his team Solo. Very good at playing in a position where he is normally starved for gold and levels. Still yet to really see Mugi show his power with the amount of net worth he has, but that will almost certainly change once he has that Bloodstone complete, which is pretty much there. Brett just needs to get that recipe done, and then things are going to get very tricky for VP once Newbee group up as 5 and start to look for these team fights. They've got a great amount of team fight. That is where their strengths lie. If the game goes on, the farm game is going to be hard to play against Ramses Sven. But the fighting in this sort of early to mid-game portion could get very rocky for VP. They're smoked up, they're looking for the opening, they get the Fiend's Grip off before the ultimate comes out, and that will be Pasha gone. Quick and clean kill for Newbee. Nothing that can be done in reaction, even with the recent patches making that cast animation a little shorter, not short enough for Pasha there. The Fiend's Grip was there immediately.
And Kaka did kind of kill steal that, but all in wait for his Blink Dagger. So courier kill, doesn't look like there was much on it.
It was empty, but still, extra bit of gold for the boys, and Mugi, off the back of that courier kill, should have the gold for the Bloodstone. Yeah, he's just 100 gold away, so Bloodstone's going to be there as well, as you say, the Blink Dagger on Kaka for the next fight.
So Virtus.pro are waiting for Newbee to do the thing that they were actually worst at, which is taking down objectives.
Yeah.
Very terrible Roche lineup, very terrible at pushing. So Virtus.pro want them to waste their time doing these maneuvers that aren't going to be super fruitful for them, just because it's simply just going to take too much time. I don't even think have a Blightstone on. They have double up on the Orb of Venom, but without a Blightstone, just right-clicking towers is just going to take forever for them. Yeah. No Medallion for Roshan too, so Virtus.pro are very comfortable with just farming up and doing neutrals, just because they know that Newbee aren't going to waste their time with that, and they're just trying to avoid fights, which Newbee are really strong at right now.
As well as the Bloodstone being done for Mugi, we have a couple of big item pickups for VP. Armlet is now complete for no one.
Mana regen, wow. He has mana regen, and he has a Wisp on his team, and he has Soul Ring. It's actually, I usually see the damage talent, especially later on combined with the attack speed talent. At level 25, 140 attack speed is no joke. And a lot of these games have gone pretty long, so you can, and he's a core, so he's more likely to get 25, and he's going for Midas.
Radiant are scanning.
I mean, I think if you're VP, you are happy sort of drawing it out and playing for the farm game with this lineup, with the Ramses fan and the numerous ways you can buff him up, as you've been mentioning with the Bloodlust and the Tether.
Kaka knows that they know. I'm not. They had the VP scan, so they know that Newbee are there. But with the way he's positioned, you can kind of tell that they know what's going on over here. And it's not really a good fight, or else he wouldn't have been in that position, hiding on the northwest side.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Lane, KP, SCCC will let's take it all.
Solo.
He tries for the warding, and he will pay for it. Newbee quickly dispatch of the Ogre.
And a D-Ward. No, that's so much of his net worth.
D-Ward and a Bloodstone charge for Mugi. Fresh off the bat of picking it up. Ramses and Lil trying to, in turn, get something achieved on the top lane. Dragontail just to hold back this Timbersaw. No one, of course, no intentions of fighting Mugi at this stage, but Mugi certainly wants to fight him, chasing him down. Kaka closing the gap. The Chakram into the Burrow Strikes there. No one is going to almost certainly go out of this one. He tries to arm the toggle, but the Fiend's Grip holds him in place. He's gone. Pasha commits the ult, but has to just run away. He cannot fight on his own against this lineup of Newbee. They're looking to try and chase him, see if they can get him post-ultimate, and with KP TPing in for the cutoff, they may just do it. No, he's quick with the blink. Pasha will keep himself safe.
Mugi was really slow at throwing out the shotgun. You want the shotgun right on top of the Earth Spirit when it's about to expire, but at the same time, Pasha did throw that stun out item. And Kaka, or sorry, KP managed to escape, I believe, in the bottom lane too during that whole time.
Full staff done now as well for KP, so a little more elusive and harder for VP to trap down in these fights. Just having that saves for whoever gets changed down. As we've seen, Newbee's best way of making the plays have been with the Sven and the DK stun. If you've got any sort of 4-star just to take or rip that hero away from the Sven hammering into them, you are going to buy time for Queen of Pain to get his blink off, for Timber to get the Timber chain off, the Burrow Strike to come out. These sort of 4-star plays could be crucial for Newbee in these fights.
And they're also making it for the other weakness of not being able to take objectives. So we do see the Timbersaw actually going for the Medallion. He's likely going to replace that later, but it's at least they realize that our weakness is like, how are we going to do Roche? We have a really big lead right now, but we can't actually do anything with it. So now they're trying to change that right now, and Roshan is still going to be pretty tough for them, but certainly doable, I would say, at this phase, especially with Nature's Prophet. Nature's Prophet probably the best hero at their team at taking down Roshan. Timbersaw's all right.
And as we've been saying, they have got such great team fight to utilize around these enclosed areas like the Roche pit.
Yep.
And for VP, it's a little harder. They need to make sure that they have the ult from the Panda to really do anything major. They do have the blink on Ramses. That's certainly going to make things a lot easier if they can get the jumps onto sort of the more glass cannon heroes like the Queen of Pain at this stage before the Sonic Wave gets blown.
At least they can just itemize for straight.
Look at this stat, man. Poor record, one last hit, bless him. He's getting more now, though. That stat, I'm afraid that's outdated. We're going to have to get that one updated now. Solo, I think he just tripled his CS in the last few seconds.
Damn, 4 CS, you see that?
Here we go.
Getting out of control.
Ramses will be saved. Lil's there with the quick relocate.
They were even looking for the Wiz, too, with the way that they were positioned.
They were trying to make sure that they could grab him as well as Ramses. They should be able to get him on the way back in as Lil. Can he get himself out of this? No. Gets stunned up by the Burrow Strike, cut down, another Bloodstone charge for Mugi.
So do they want to do Roche right now? That is a question.
I could try. As you said, it's not going to be the quickest, but it is going to be pretty safe in terms of not taking any damage with the Treants tanking it up. They've got a fantastic ward as well to spot out any sort of action that starts going. In fact, look at it. They've got 3 observer wards kind of in between VP and themselves. This is very hard for VP to make any sort of gap closer on. So it's a very, very safe Roche attempt. They go for the smoke, but they see it. These wards paying off, and immediately Newbee, they know that they can't mess around. They can't race and take down Roche at any sort of speed, so they get away. This smoke, unlikely to achieve anything for VP, and in fact, whoa, Kaka, very quick with the blink. He was ready for that one. Gets himself out of the hands of Ramses. Now Kaka wants to go back in. Leads him with the Burrow Strike. Pasha jumps forward with the clap. Defensive Nightmare buying some time for Kaka. Will it be enough to get him out of there? No. Cut down by Ramses. VP find one, and they move on for a second. The stone's now onto Faith. He can't get the Fiend's Grip out. He's gone. Kaka buying back. Newbee really wanting to try and take this fight, even though this ult being out on the Panda makes it very hard for Newbee to actually get in on this. They get held back by the Cyclone. Solo's still there. They'll get the Panda immediately with the stun. Kaka does catch him. Pasha's not going to be able to TP out. The buyback paying off in that sense that they do get the Panda kill. They go back into Roshan, and with 1 man down on VP and the God Strength, the ult's being used by VP. It makes it hard to go.
Rune. Oh my goodness, they don't have sentries.
Oh, is he going to go for a snipe? Oh. No, they got the dust. They're prepared. The dust is out. Newbee see him. Sonic Wave as well. No one is gone.
I thought he was going to make a big
I think, was he underneath that? Yeah, they did see him.
I didn't realize they had a dust on him, though. I mean, why would you have a dust? They don't even have any Invis heroes.
That is true, yeah. MVP whoever had that dust, I tell you what. But they get the kill, they get the Aegis.
Bane had a sentry, to be fair, but yeah, Kaka had that dust. Yeah. Maybe he expected like a Shadow Blade pickup from Dragon Knight. Maybe he like wanted to kill the Invis Brew if they killed other ones. But I mean, these are very far-fetched situations, Owen. having a dust right there is just inconceivable almost.
Yeah, very commendable play. And it does it, if they didn't have it, no one would definitely have had a high
He had a
chance of
sentry
turning
on
it
Bane,
down.
but it was, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe they popped that. But still, even just the foresight to have popped down a sentry at the end of that Roche would have been, as you say, not necessarily likely because of...
It was still really funny.
It was nice.
He's like, oh man, I'm going to make this big play. And he's
Dust. Newbee, ready to push down mid. God Strength as well as the Dragon Form back online if VP do want to take a fight, but there's 17 charges on this Bloodstone. Solo Crest, Aegis on Mugi. He's very hard to go on. They have to go around and get to the back lines, and that's exactly what they're doing with this smoke. Jump onto Fave. Bane in trouble, but I say that Kaka comes in with a good burrow strike, but Bane is still surrounded. He'll get taken down. Mugi's trying to turn. Chakram onto 2. Jump forward from SCCC. Pasha comes in with the ultimate. He's looking to focus down the Queen of Pape, keep SCCC out of the fight, but he gets forced back, buys him time to get the blink off to the side. Mugi on the front lines as Kaka comes back in with the burrow strike onto Ramses. Popping the war cry, looking for a target. They'll throw down the dust. They have the vision onto Kaka. He cuts into it with the God Strength. Ramses picks up the SK kill. Now he's been sprouted. No way to get out the tree line until now. Now he's able to cut through. VP take a 3rd kill out the back of this. Mugi thinking about trying to get something in return. He's eyeing up Lil. Stick charges are there. Lil tethers across. They won't catch the IO. Mugi's deep, but VP, they're just ignoring this Timber. They're going for everyone around him. The stun from Ramses is there. They've got the perfect control to get the kill onto SCCC. Mugi gets out, but VP, they played that fight absolutely perfectly. They just ignored the Timber, went behind him, and for the entire fight, Mugi was trying to say, look at me, but VP, they just kept their eyes averted and looked elsewhere.
There's so many issues with that fight for Newbee. Firstly, they give the Aegis to Mugi, which is just not...
He doesn't need it.
He's not going to die. We saw the Sun hitting him. He did almost no damage, and then Ramsey's like, okay, I'm not even touching him the rest of the fight. Secondly, they didn't kite the Brew ultimate. That is just generally the best solution to deal with the Brew
He's
ultimate.
a little out on his own. Ooh. I don't know if Armor's going to be enough to save him. Lil tries for the save. It's not quick enough.
That's 2 Bloodstone charges for Mugi. And I think he also needs to itemize against the Cyclone too, which would help a lot. I'm not. What happens if you Lotus the Cyclone? Because I know Cyclone lasts longer on non-hero units. So does that count? I'm not sure. That'd be a pretty sick solution.
I might see it come into play.
Yeah, maybe later on.
If Newbee do get better, as you say. We're still pretty early on in the game. 22 minutes in, 15-11. Newbee still having the advantage and are taking objectives. Top lane, Pasha's in trouble. He's going for the TP out, and he will make it. They don't have any sort of way of holding him back. Some very close fights indeed. Overall, Ramsey's still in the lead with the net worth. 12,000 on him at the moment, and BKB very close to being done. And that will cause a lot of issues for Newbee's lineup. Very reliant on the magic, but they've got ways to disable him through it. Again, we saw before how much a Bane can do.
They just need Timbersaw to kill the Wisp. Maybe even get a Blink Dagger on him. He needs a lot of things. I actually don't think he needs more armor. He's actually going for Shiva's Guard. He has incredible amounts of armor. He's at 43 without full reactive, and then he's going to have more from Shiva's. Yeah, they're not going to focus him. As we saw from last fight, like, they're not really going to focus him. I guess maybe you can get like lucky with some God Strength cleaves later on and burst him down before he gets reactive, but that's also really far-fetched. I think you just go for the most likely scenario, which is you getting kited and then play around or build around that rather. So I'm not a huge fan of the Shiva's build, but we'll see how it pays off. I'd be a much bigger fan of like BKB, so you can use it during the Brew ulti and just, or you can get a Blink Dagger to do a lot of damage up front onto the Wisp, and if you get Cycloned, you can blink out a Cyclone too. That's one of the great parts about the Blink Dagger in this game too.
Looking for Ramses, but Ramses does have backup. Lus is there from Solo, speeds him out. In fact, Ramsey's thinking about turning, jumps in immediately again. They just ignore the Timber, straight in onto KP, who gets forced back. Solar Crest on him as well. Is it going to be enough to save him? No. Ramses gets the cleave hit, takes down the Nature's Prophet. The Fiend's Grip was there onto the eye. They have managed to find a trade, but overall VP coming in thick and hard. Sonic Wave from SCCC, bursting them down low. Ramses trying to find Faith. The stun control comes out. Double kill for Ramses. He's 2 for 2 at the moment. He'll look towards the Shrine. Ramses still standing pretty strong, but the controls there for Newbee. They cut him down post BKB. BKB. The magical's too much for this Sven, and now Pasha could be in trouble as well. He goes for the TP. Kaka, not quite the resources to get out another stun. So he will escape, but again, Newbee getting some very good fights, fighting nicely around the BKBs as well. You saw again, VP, they have good intentions. They jump in on the back. They do get the KP kill straight off the bat. But that's the BKB commitment. And the rest of Newbee's team very good at keeping the distance with these heroes like the Timbersaw and the Quap, and then coming back in at the opportune time.
They actually use grip on the Wisp that fight. That's how, when there's a BKB Sven in the game, that's how important the Wisp is to Virtus.pro's lineup. So Newbee should continue to try and prioritize the Wisp, even if it does mean expending grip. And Virtus.pro, they have to protect the Wisp a little bit better and get no one a BKB.
The seeds of fortune.
He actually, does he have it? Okay, yeah, he just picked it up actually. So this is a good time for them to make a play. They smoked out a base for this.
Illusion.
Okay.
They don't want to give up this next Roche, but you don't want to find Timber.
Nope.
I think even if you find him with no reactives, he's very, like, things could just go so poorly for you. And he does have reactive. He doesn't have BOTs though, so if they take a fight this far south, it could be a good play for them. But ideally, you want to find Quap. Quap is just going to get blown up super easily. Quap does not have enough armor.
I mean, she's got the Lincolns, makes it a little more difficult in terms of stun control. And in fact, talking about the Quap, they're going to find Solo here. They'll take him down. Lil will bring no one in for this.
What? It's just a DK. He doesn't have that many items.
They're trying to fight. I mean, Newbee will probably be happy to play around with this. Pasha comes in. Ramses is there now as well, though. He has the God Strength. They've forced back the Quap. The Linker's blocking the stun, allows SCC to DP out. And Faith with the Fiend's Grip, but he gets cancelled. Ramses gets the chance to put the BKB. They're turning towards Mugi. Can they bring down this Timbersaw? It doesn't look like they can. He gets himself out to the side with the medallion buff. He's now looking to turn. Doesn't get the chakra connection onto no one, but he cuts in low with the Whirling Death. No one trying for the TP out. Knows there's no way of Newbee cancelling it, and he does escape safely.
Wow, no one died. Virtus.pro. It's pretty insane. Having a lot of problems protecting their heroes, especially Kaka in particular. So, looks like Kaka is going to go for a Yules. They don't have any Diffusal carriers. The best thing they have is Dispel Magic coming out from the Storm Panda, but he can only do so much in the fight. But they're getting close to big items too. Brewmaster has been slowly keeping up a net worth too, so despite Dragon Knight being less farmed, he's going to have the Radiance on the Brewmaster to make up for his damage. That's going to be pretty great for them, especially because they've itemized heavy armor. You want magic damage to hopefully kill the Timbersaw. Great Lincoln Sphere pickup too. Great for Dragon Tail, great for Sven Stun. I wonder if he's going to itemize versus it. Like, you can get Bloodthorn and like Blink Bloodthorn and Stun, but that's not the easiest to pull off.
Middle lane. Okay.
Oh, he's actually just does not care about Cyclone at all. They used Cyclone early on in the fight, last fight, to cancel the grip. So he had a little bit of a breather, but I could easily see him getting Cyclone 3 times, just like one of the first fights that we saw.
Pasha's very close to having Relic on his way to Radiance. It's only going to add up to the overall damage potential of VP in these drawn-out fights that we are starting to see because of both teams having these tanky, beefy cores that can withstand a lot of damage over time. 28 minutes, still Newbee with the overall lead, but Ramses sitting strong at the top. 15k net worth. No slowing down in the pace of this man's farm. Crystalis is in his backpack, ready to go for the next fight. They can get a good stun. As we've been saying, as long as it's not onto Mugi, they have a very good chance of just taking out a hero straight away from the team fight with the damage that this Sven can kick out with a few crits.
And just to illustrate the damage from the heroes, like Timbersaw, he's versus 4 strength heroes. He's the highest right now, but I think he's supposed to be way higher than 16.1k. And Sven, they're doing a very good job of hiding the Sven through the evasion, through the Force Staff, through the Blink Daggers, Sleep Grip. So Sven, he's not been doing that much damage because of great play, I would say, coming out from Newbee. And Brewmaster was also pretty close too, but he'll be able to come up there. I think he just purchased his Relic. Oh,
he's got the full Radiance, actually.
Yeah,
there we go.
It's a great time.
Orchid has been complete for SCCC, and this will be scanned down.
It could be huge, because they could actually...
They know it's there. They know what's going on, Newbee.
Is Newbee going to be able to go in, though?
They're going to put the primal split. Pasha's just going to look to try and keep them out on the sideline. Silence is there immediately onto Solo. That's going to be the Ogre down. It's falling low. Kaka comes in with a burst strike. Aegis hasn't been picked up yet. It's still on the ground. Roche's still alive. No one. He gets the snatch. They did get the kill, Newbee, but no one on the DK. Grabs the Aegis, pops the BKB, trying to fight up against this. Mugi's going to be sent up in air by the primal split. No one in Pasha look towards Faith. They cut down the Bane. Kaka coming in, finds the burst strike onto the DK. No one's going to be down once. Silence is there onto the Brew. Pasha to fall almost certainly as well. Drunken Ace buys him sometime, but it's not enough. KP and Kaka just toying with Ramses on the backlines away from this whole fight. He's stuck in the Sprout, caught out by the Burrow Strike. Newbee, they take a third. No one does get out on the DK. He did manage to at least make sure that the Aegis didn't go the way of Newbee, but Newbee, they get the benefit of the gold and the experience. They take the team fight. They're now 12K ahead. There's no buyback on Pasha. There's no buyback on Ramses. Newbee, they could get away with easily at least to set in this middle lane if they wish to do so.
Anyone else getting flashbacks? RTZ's Sven tracked this for help.
Oh, no one? Okay. I mean, he just walks in and cuts down the SK, but yeah, he's got to get out of there. Lil will make sure of it.
He also has cheese, too. You can also pass it to the Wisp.
Got the stun onto Mugi.
Yeah, good luck. Without the Sven, that's just not happening.
Lil is gone. Silence cut down. They really want to try and find this melee Rax here, Newbee, off the back of that fantastic team play. And they should get it. No one has to be careful. There's no IO to back him up. And that will be the melee Rex down. He leads forward again, see if he can catch anyone on the retreat. Does manage to find KP, but the Nightmare is holding him back. Mugi comes across with the Chakram. Silence down to Pasha. SCCC ready to turn. Has the Silence down onto the Brewmaster. Not quite enough damage to finish him off. Pasha will survive. Gets himself back in range of the Shrine. But Newbee, they get that melee Rex. They get out, only losing the SK. And they still maintain a hefty lead this game.
Yep, now Mugi's coming into form. He just demolished at that Roche fight so hard. And he's getting there. They just kind of left him alone for the majority of the game and kind of delaying the problem over and over. But
we'll see this Roche again. Three-man Burrow Strike from Kaka into just a perfect Sonic Wave. And it was a bit of a saving grace that no one is able to pick up the Aegis, but this time, with two heroes already dead, Newbee still having the full 5-man, it's just such a hard fight for VP to take.
So great play from Pasha. He like blinked out of the pit, or he went outside of the pit with his Brewlings to try and slow them down as much as possible, but Mugi got vision with the Chakram, and after that, they just honed in on that kill.
Worthy tribute.
So keep in mind, Newbee, they don't have like the best late game. Like Timbersaw this far is pretty damn good, but they still lack in the physical damage department. But with this sort of lead, I don't really think they're worried at all. He's going for heart too. Does he really need to be more tanky?
I mean, he just doesn't want to die, Ben. And I'll tell you what, he's not going to if he gets that heart complete. I mean, yeah, 8-0-8 at this moment. He is on par to having a game with a flawless KDA up top. Kaka actually finding the stun onto 2. They are going to look to try and turn. They put the primal split. Dust comes out. Lil will relocate himself out of there. The Fiend's Grip comes down to Ramses, but Dragon Tail from no one stops the channeling. They focus down Faith. He's been dusted up. Glimmercape by him sometime in the magic resist. He turns with the brain sap, but they'll chase and they'll finish him off. Faith's gone. Kaka comes back in with the epicenter onto Lil. Not enough damage to finish off Io. Ramses looks for the stun, but Kaka Sandstorm, it jukes it out. They don't have any sentry down VP, so they've got to back up. They blink away. Kaka's finding the chase. They cut down Lil. BKB's been popped by Ramses. He's going to wear out soon. He's trying to fight up, but again, he's been sprouted, stuck in the trees. He'll be cut out of there by Mugi, but it's all good for Newbee as they have the Burrow Strike. He's down. He has to buy back Ramses as VP are forced back to the base. Again, Newbee taking an absolute storm of a team fight. And VP really giving it their all, but these fights are so hard to take.
I guess he actually should be worried about dying because they have the Silver Edge now on the DK. They, I think, caught him out with like very low reactive stacks because he came down after the Cyclone, so there were no creeps hitting him. And he looked a little bit mortal that fight. A tiny bit.
In this game, despite that 20k gold lead, there definitely still is life left in the fighting power of VP. And it's all about whether Ramses can get the job done. But as you said, with the items in play, it's a hard game for the Sven to really get the chance to beat into anyone.
Yeah, the Sprout alone is already like huge against him. He doesn't have enough room for just a puny little Quelling Blade. He has it in his backpack, but I guess you can BKB and then swap it out. to cut down one tree in a fight.
I mean, he's going to need to in some of these cases. He has to.
Yep.
If he wants to get anything done with the timing of BKB and God's Strength.
Okay, now Mugi should be close to unkillable.
29 Bloodstone charges. Heart Shivers Garcilla Crest. It's the dream.
Maybe five heroes on him with a break with no reactive and a Bloodthorn to mitigate the evasion.
Okay, maybe at that point they kill him.
Under attack.
Maybe.
It's still a maybe. It's not a guaranteed surefire. Kaka. Looking for no one. They have got the Fiend's Grip. Pasha has to put the Primal Split, but the Yule's sending him up, meaning he can't get the chance to get it out along with the stun. SCCC has the Sonic Wave. They finish off no one. He's down. No buyback available. VP, they have to find some sort of trade off the back of this. They can't let Newbee get away with this one for free, but I don't know if they can actually punish them at all. The silence is there onto Solo. SCCC jumps forward, gets the double kill. Lil going over to Ramsey with the tether, but the burrow strikes through. Lil is down. Ramsey's put the BKB, but it's all over for VP. They tap out. GG is called. Newbee take game 2. We're going to a game 3.
Nailed it with a Timber pick.
Absolutely. What a Timbersaw pick, and what a Timbersaw play. He played defensively in terms of his iron, but 11-0-11. This has got to be some of the best Timbersaw main stage we've seen in a while. Absolutely flawless from Mugi.
And Newbee also focused down the Wind Panda so that he wouldn't get Cyclone. I didn't really notice that until some of the tail end of the later fights, but that's why he wasn't getting Cyclone as much as you would have expected coming out from Virtus.pro. Well played.
Oh, wow. And Mugi and SCCC, certainly the ones having the flashy plays. There's no doubt about that in terms of their KDA, but the team as a whole, Newbee looking incredibly hot. And maybe you could argue game 1, it looked like it was going to go this way as well. This time they were just able to close it up, despite, as we said, really the lack of sort of tower hitting pushes. But at the end, they didn't have to kill the Ancient. They just had to kill VP over and over again, man.
You got it.
Well, game 3, ladies and gentlemen. I know you won't go anywhere because this series is stepping up to be quite something as it stands 1-1 between Newbee and VP. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon for the final game of this series.
I want to get in there.